The Fresno Focus Radio Hour. This is the No Focus Radio Hour. Comedy and insight from the greatest minds in Fresno. A Lightomine Media production. That's right. This is the No Focus Radio Hour, the #1 independent podcast in the Central Valley. Thank you for listening and thank you for telling a friend. The No Focus Radio Hour is available everywhere podcasts can be found, including YouTube and your home smart speakers. Just please remember to subscribe and leave a review. That helps others discover our show. And while you're reviewing, keep in mind that 5 stars is the correct number of stars. If you enjoy our show, please share it with your friends. And if you hate it, share it with your enemies. Check out our site, nofocusradio.com. There you can subscribe and become an exclusive, and you get some exclusive content. You can vote on Don's polls. You can find us on social media. Our handle is at nofocusradio. Find the rest of our content at lightominemedia.com. Eric, it's all you.
I can't be with you, you know it's true. And you know just what I got to do. Gonna hit the ground running, running to my favorite podcast. Gonna hit the ground running, running to my favorite city. That's Fresno.
Wow. That's right. This is the No Focus Radio Hour, the #1 independent podcast in the Central Valley. It's made for those who live in the Central Valley, made for those who miss the Central Valley, those who long to live in the Central Valley, and those who
have found love on our Discord server in the Central Valley.
Oh, as always, we have a beautiful cast of characters. We have the whole crew here. It's been a while. But Don, his pole is back.
He's made it.
It's healed. He's back. We got with us the Doorman.
Hey, everyone. Hey, you know, that song just gave me chills. I felt like I was really on cue there.
You sounded really
Did you guys feel that?
Yeah. You've been practicing in the shower, haven't you?
Yeah, all over the place. Yeah.
We could probably sell that copy as a single.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's do it.
For sale, just go to No Focus Radio.
Join our Patreon.
That'll be the shortest song, right? What is it, like 20 seconds?
You guys, what? If you guys subscribe to our gold membership, I'll send you a free copy of Eric singing that song.
And you can play it over and over again in the shower.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We also have with us Marty Stupidasso.
I don't want to brag, but I got a new mannequin.
Yeah, we saw that.
I did. I got pictures of it on our Discord server, and she's beautiful and she's complete, and I'm very proud of her.
Are you in love?
What's her name?
I haven't named her yet.
Ooh.
The name will come to me later, but I keep moving her around the house, and it's freaking my wife out because she'll be around a corner, and my wife will turn around the corner and scream and yell at me.
Now, was this the one you paid? It was like 1940s or something, and you paid a pretty penny for that one, right?
Well, for what I got, it was actually a good price because she came with a wig, she came with a dress, the whole bit.
I mean, it looks like it's not even nicked up or anything.
It is. She has some.
Where'd you find it?
On Craigslist.
Oh, nice.
So this is actually true. This is the thing. I told Marty, next time you find a mannequin, let me know. I want one. Marty found me some, and I was so excited. And I said to my wife, oh, my gosh, look at Marty found me a mannequin. And she just looked at me and said, you're not getting a mannequin. I said that.
You're not going down that road.
Okay, that's fair.
Isn't it kind of sexist to call it mannequin?
It's a woman.
Should be a girlican.
A girlican.
It's a
there's no such thing anymore.
Please, it's a zerlican. We also have with us Mr. We have with us Don Schlicks.
Hey, good to be back. I've been taking some time off and probably take some more time off. But I'm always happy to be here, and we got a lot of good things to talk about.
Yeah, so. Guys.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy to have him back. Happy to have him back.
And behind the board, we have the one, the only, Johnny Knobs.
Hey, everybody. You know me. My name is Maxwell Johnny Knobs.
Hey, why did they call you John? You know, someone on the Discord asked me that, and I said, I'm not sure.
He's never told us before why his name is John.
He's never told us.
You guys really don't know why I'm called this?
No.
This is really crazy.
Okay.
So, true story. There's this guy, I don't know if you guys know this, but my older brother was a American professional wrestler known as half of the tag team, the Nasty Boys.
Ah.
Yeah, you guys might know him as Brian Knobs.
Look at him. You can tell he was a professional.
Yeah, we're looking at a picture right here off of Wikipedia.
I don't know if you know Brian Knobs from the Nasty Boys.
No.
So his original partner's name was Jerry Sags. He was one of the other Nasty Boys. But
Knobs and Sags. That's a good.
Were they WWF?
Yes. Yeah, they were. They were from 86 to 97. But what happened was, you see, in 97, they broke up. They broke up, and Brian Knobs who's my older brother. He got injured. He was he had to go to the war. He enlisted in the war efforts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he's just so nasty, and they needed him to go take out Al Qaeda.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he got injured, and so
I thought you were going to say Hitler for a minute.
Yeah, no, Al Qaeda. What happened was he got injured in the war efforts, and so they needed to call in his younger brother, who was me. Me.
Yeah, because you're built like a wrestler,
That's
like
right.
a WWE.
Yeah. I'm as built
you
as
and The Rock.
Brian Knobs is. Yeah, and so.
So wait, you went into the war, or you went into the ring?
Both.
Wow, the war ring.
Yeah, and
the
so
ring
what
of
happened
war.
was they called me. I was the Nasty Boy. They called me Nasty Boy Johnny Knobs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so what happened was, though, when I'd go into the war, I'd fly in on this helicopter, and it would start playing like
Flight of the Valkyrie.
Yeah, Flight of the Valkyries, and I would
as every helicopter does.
Yeah,
in war.
and I would crank it up really loud, and they'd be like, "Here he comes, Nasty Boy Johnny Knobs," and they'd say, "Why did you call you that?" And I'd crank it up, and they'd say, "'Cause I control the volume." Yeah.
And do you like the smell of napalm in the morning too?
The smell of victory.
That's a true story. I don't know if you guys knew that about me.
There's got to be a new segment we do.
Yeah.
Where we just find a 90s, 80s wrestler and talk about them.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Like an unknown, obscure.
Or one we've all forgotten about. Yeah.
Like Sergeant Slaughter.
I have a video on my phone that was sent to me by one of the Bushwhackers, and it's about 7 minutes long.
I remember
he
the
talked to me for
Bushwhackers.
about 7 minutes.
It's one of the funniest videos.
Yeah.
Really?
It's a birthday message.
It's one of those where you hire him to kind of send a birthday message.
And those were supposed to, I have one from Jake the Snake Roberts, and his is pretty typical. It's like 2.5 minutes, and he says some really nice things. And then the Bushwhacker, I think it was Luke Bushwhacker.
Oh my God!
I can't even remember.
And those guys are from Bushwhacker, right? They're an Australian tag team.
I don't know if that's true or if that was their backstory.
He's probably from like Des Moines, Iowa.
I have no idea. But I think his video is like 8.5 minutes
forever.
long. Yeah.
Like
Wow.
you can't believe it's like he's calling his old friend.
That's
Don
awesome.
Schleggs. He just goes on these rants. It's the best. It's
Now,
really
if I
good.
remember correctly, the Bushwhackers, they had some pretty good. They had mullet hair, right? They had the old Joe Dirt mullet hair thing going on. I think,
they
right?
had shaved heads.
Oh, did
I
they
don't
have?
remember. They might have done mullets for a while.
Am I thinking of someone else?
They licked each other's skulls and.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. I'm thinking of someone.
These
Yeah.
Oh, I remember
that's
them now.
right.
Yeah, they wore the camo
I was thinking
pants.
of someone else.
It was him. He
thinking of
talked to
someone
me
else.
for about 9 minutes.
Yeah, we're looking at these guys right now on the computer.
They look somewhat like
That's right.
they've been hitting each other in the head with a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bush.
It's really offensive. They were supposed to be bush people from Australia.
This is classic. This is great, though. I
Pretty
love
great. It's the Bushwhackers.
old school WWF, man. It was the best.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, in the show notes, of course, you can check out some pictures of the Bushwhackers.
As you should. They're awesome.
Yeah, you can check them out. But guys, this is very important.
Yes.
As you guys know, before Don left, he gave us a poll.
He did.
He gave us a poll, and
I don't remember. Was this a big poll or a small poll?
it was a big poll.
It was. What kind of poll?
It was a Don's poll. It was a Don's poll.
You know what I'm saying?
What does the poll?
Yeah.
Let's check out his poll.
It's time
Did you
for
vote on the poll?
It's time.
Hey, what happened to your poll?
Don't say it
I
now.
like that poll.
Pepperoni's disease.
Say it
Is
is.
that Don's poll?
Oh yeah.
Why has it been like that?
Ow! It's time for Don's polls! Ooh. Ow!
All right, a few weeks ago, might have been a few months ago, I asked you, what is the most cruel disappointment when it comes to food? And we talked about, is it A, oatmeal cookies, and you think they're chocolate chip cookies, but they're all oatmeal raisin cookies? Is it B, when you were a kid and you wanted fruity gumdrops and you were excited and they turned out to be spice drops instead?
Oh, boy.
Is it C, you go in the morning, you pull yourself a big bowl of Captain Crunch, and you go to your fridge, and there's no
That's happened to me many times.
milk. Oh, it's a big one.
Flashbacks. Oh.
I don't remember that we had all of these, but okay. Was it D, when you go somewhere and instead of having peanut butter, they have almond butter?
Yikes.
That's a big step down. Or is it E? This was my daughter gave me this choice, and it's a really good one. When you see a big, nice bowl of cut up watermelon, and you know it's like perfect triangle wedges, and you go to pick up the slice and you take a bite, and it's hot and mushy and just disintegrates in your mouth.
These are all really good.
Yeah. Or is it F, bald eagles dying from wind farms instead of living peacefully?
Oh, my God. Oh,
Wow.
Yikes. All right, guys.
All right, so people voted.
The people voted. And this is actually, I thought this was shocking to me. I'm going to go from bottom to top, right?
Okay.
So whatever. The thing that...
The least
disappointing thing. The
Yes.
thing that people care literally nothing
The
about. In
least
fact,
cruel
negative.
thing.
-1 people care about bald eagles dying from wind farms. Oh, nobody
Give us
nobody
that wind
cares.
energy. Give us that wind
Nobody
energy.
cares about bald eagles. Oh, so sad, so sad. Next one, which I thought was kind of also shocking. This was 0. 0 people care about spice drops instead of fruity gumdrops.
Okay. That was a disappointment for me.
Nobody
growing up.
cares about that one. And then as a tie, which this is interesting, a tie. No, next one up, sorry, is almond butter instead of peanut butter.
All right.
So number 3.
Yeah. And then we got a tie here, which probably 2 of the biggest ones. You got no milk for your big bowl of cereal.
Ooh.
And then hot, mushy watermelon. Oh,
wow.
Tied. And then...
So for second place, those were
That's for
second place?
That's second.
And then drum roll, please, for the number 1 most cruel disappointment. Don, let us know.
It's oatmeal raisin cookies instead of chocolate chip cookies. Oh, I really thought maybe the watermelon would take it because that is it's gross.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Hot, mushy watermelon.
I was really pulling for the bald eagles, and apparently.
Yeah. My
Bald Eagle Puree. Yeah.
Yeah.
my mother actually listened to the podcast and this one came out, and she told me by far oatmeal cookies was her number 1.
Oh, wow. All right.
Oatmeal cookies. All right.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah, good poll, everyone. Thanks for voting.
Oh, this has been Don Schlick's Poll.
Yeah.
You liked it.
It was Don Schlick's Poll. That was Don Schlick's Poll.
Everybody now
Was his
check out
poll.
Let me see.
That was his poll.
Everybody now check out
Come on. Take his poll.
That was brilliant, Don. You should do that every time. I love that.
That was Don Schlick's Poll.
Channeled Elvis right there in front of us. I saw the
Oh, my
jumpsuit
goodness.
appear on his body, and he was
Big one.
dancing.
Okay, but Don, you you were out because we kept on saying that your poll was broken. Too
Yeah.
many people voted on it.
Had a broken poll.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it back to healthy status.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Now, did it have anything?
Speaking of polls and health.
Yeah. Did it have anything to do with your prostate by any chance?
You know what? I've had some symptoms
Okay.
that go in line with prostate issues,
Yeah.
and I've had these actually since my 20s.
Yeah.
And it's a little concerning,
Yeah.
but I've been, actually, this is true, I'm not even making this up. I've been multiple different times, because I'm like, there's got to be, like, and every time I get clean bill of health. No.
Yeah.
Everything looks
What is
healthy.
your prostate test, your
Did they do a PSA?
your prostate.
Haven't gotten to that point yet. It's probably because I just now turned 40. I don't know when they start doing
my
that.
PSA is always elevated, but they can't find any reason why.
Yeah, no, I've had they talk about you have difficulty urinating if there's a prostate issue. Like I've had weird stuff like that since I was in my 20s.
Have you ever had any damage, like when you're riding a bike or something?
It's possible. Yeah,
Do you have Peyronie's disease?
I don't know what that is.
What is that?
Haven't you seen that commercial? They show the carrot that's all bent up.
Oh,
and
that is. It's from
and
a broken.
And it says, you could have Peyronie's disease. Take this medication and it will help your carrot be straight.
No.
I don't eat that many carrots. Why do I need my carrots straight? So it's usually they're chopped
what does it matter?
Are there like baby carrots? Maybe I like, but I don't see a reason to medicate my carrots.
Do you peel your carrots before you?
Yes, because other words, they have that weird texture in my mouth and
that skin.
And that makes my mouth feel weird.
All the vitamins and minerals are in the skin.
Okay, we're talking about carrots, right?
Yeah. What about the electricity issue that we're hitting in California? Maybe
California has electricity because I keep getting these flex alerts that I'm not supposed to run anything. I'm supposed to sit.
Fuchsia,
in the dark
is that a color? Let's wear that ribbon. If there's no color, I'm calling fuchsia right now.
Yeah. So there's been a lot
Leopards don't have stripes.
of
California, listen, we had rolling blackouts, right?
Yeah,
that
you
was
guys talk about this for a little bit. Yeah, talk about this.
Well, I did was it 2 weeks ago or was it just last week where Governor Newsom signed the law that said all new cars purchased after 2035 in California must be
electric.
There
would be no gas vehicles sold after 2035 in California.
And then 2 days later, they sent out I got emergency alerts on my phone about it. Please don't turn your AC below 80 degrees or 78, and please do not charge your electric vehicles.
Yeah, from 4 to 9.
So that just seemed to be a little confusing.
Well, it's setting up what we know what's going to happen. The power grid cannot handle all these electric vehicles. I mean, obviously.
Can't even handle air conditioners.
No. I mean, and what you're talking about, it was funny because it was a meme that was going around on the internet where it was a Newsweek. It was actual Newsweek, a title of their article, which literally said that, Gavin Newsom bans, gas cars 2035. And then right after that, all of a sudden, the power grid can't handle. Please don't charge your electric vehicles.
It got hot, people. Don't charge your cars.
We're in bizarre land.
Just so dumb.
So, there's a pretty famous picture of people driving Teslas with a generator attached to them.
What is this, Marty? You saw this?
I've seen that. It's a real thing. Yeah.
It's a picture of a Tesla in a driveway, and the person cannot use the grid to power their Tesla, so they have to get a gas-operated generator to plug into their Tesla to charge it.
I've actually seen the people driving down the road with a generator on their Tesla.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, because that you use gas to charge your battery. But
you know what?
He's showing a picture of. You got to post this on our Discord.
Here, let's do this
on the show notes. Exit out. Yeah, that's great.
Limited power.
Yeah, it's a limited power, and it's got the Emperor Palpatine.
There we go.
With his lightning bolts coming out of his And
I have a good friend who works for the Monopoly PG&E, and he's explained it to me that all the renewable sources, wind and solar, they obviously are very unstable, right? They produce more, then they produce less, and the power. Man, now I'm blanking on the term, but it's not so much the amount of power. Like we could theoretically get enough power.
The grid could handle more power, essentially, you're saying?
No, it can't handle unstable power. So they're having to go in and spend many billions of dollars trying to patch up this infrastructure.
So you're saying this, okay,
and
so
they can't.
This infrastructure, what you're saying is this infrastructure was built to handle stable power, like hydropower, hydroelectric. I mean, certain power sources, right, that are stable, nuclear, that are putting out a certain type. Instead of this, all of a sudden, real peak in the middle of the day when you got the sun up there and it's going crazy, and then all of a sudden it's nighttime and there's nothing.
It's cloudy one day. It's not the next.
It's going to wreck the system.
Windy one day. It's not the next. Yeah.
It's going to wreck the system. Because it can't handle that.
And California is not, to this point, doing anything about that grid infrastructure.
No, of course not. They never do.
Newsom just passed a bill to spend $5 billion patching up, putting Band-Aids on the current grid, which won't do anything for us long term, you know? So,
of course. They mandate all the stuff on us, and then there's no infrastructure to support it. That's the bottom line. What was this?
I remember when Gray Davis got recalled for very similar issues.
Well, we tried to recall this guy, and magically he got 90 billion votes, just like somebody else did. But anyway, okay. But I was going to say now, also too, wasn't Newsom just touting? He had like this big speech where he was talking about California. We use hardly any coal, and Texas used all this coal, and look at us, we don't use any.
We're
coal.
Also buying electricity
audio,
from.
That was actual audio.
Yes, that was actual audio.
We also import like 60% of our electricity from other states that are using coal and
they said too they had to use they have some it was an emergency generators for the power grid in California, and they've never used them before, and all of a sudden now, because we've got no power, they had to turn these things on, which I think are run off of is it natural gas, or I'm not sure, but yeah.
Well, we talked about before how all the solar farms and wind farms still have to have substations of real like electricity that run on fuel
and also
the wind turbines. We've talked about this before too. I think the wind turbines have to turn, or otherwise, if they really stay still, I mean they'll have problems.
Yes, they literally run them off gas.
They run them off gas.
Because it won't kill the eagles if they're not running.
Additionally, I don't know if you've seen all these stories of all the wind turbines collapsing right now.
No.
I've told that
they're happening everywhere.
What's going on?
They're now doing studies to see if they're literally designed to fall apart. Wind turbines are collapsing. They're doing investigations. They're doing investigations in Colorado.
This is planned obsolescence.
In Texas. In the other ones they're doing, there's just a new one that just happened. Where was it? Like in Wales or South Wales.
So they're just like falling over. I mean, I see pictures here on the internet.
Yeah, they're literally just collapsing.
It's just that they can't carry the load.
Here's another 2 million pound wind turbines are just collapsing. This one in South Wales.
From big winds? Is it because of strong winds?
From winds. They're just
and then
repeatedly
it got these huge propellers. I mean, that thing's bigger than the turbine, and it's supposed to carry that load. I mean, come on.
It's like a little pinwheel when you stick it out the car window and it bends.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So before we move on, I did want to say I'm a huge fan of Car and Driver, and because they are very honest in their reporting and funny. Also, they have good writers, and so they did their newest issue right now, the September issue. You can get it, I think, on the newsstands. Is Electric Vehicle of the Year.
I'm shocked you can still get a magazine, actually.
Yeah.
A physical magazine.
Do you go to the pictures and
You know how
move
he
your
gets
finger
those?
trying to enlarge the image?
Don gets those because
Birthday
Johnny
present.
Knobs has been paying for that for years.
Are you
Hell
serious?
yeah. I'm the only subscriber to Motor Trend, and
Is that like a gift? Is that
yeah, it's like my birthday gift that I get him.
Car and Driver. I do get Motor Trend too.
Oh, sorry, Car and Driver. I gotta fix it.
Motor Trend it's okay.
So back on the vehicles here. What do you got?
So they did an Electric Vehicle of the Year, and they just say flat out, some of their writers, have the same concerns that we bring up, and they're like, it's not a perfect solution, but these are all the vehicles that are being developed now. Every automaker has gone 100%, into only making AV.
They're being forced
EVs.
to.
Yeah. And so I thought it was interesting because they preview each car that's coming out, right, and talk about it. But they also talk about the experiences of owning these and difficulties. And so I just wanted to bring up just
the pros and the cons.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
I want to bring up 3 things that I found interesting in here. So they talk about the new Hummer, which is a GMC EV pickup truck, and it's massive. It weighs something. Oh man, I don't see the weight. Let me see.
It's got to be huge because of all the batteries.
The batteries. Curb weight. 9,640 pounds is what it weighs.
What's the average truck?
It's like a Brontosaurus.
Oh, like 6,000. Yeah, those batteries are
4 to 6.
Yeah. So they gave you a how much it costs to charge it from 10% to 90%. $81. And so
every time you charge it, it's $81?
No. Every time you charge it from 10% to 90%. So you're only getting 80% of the range, and it's $81.
Wow.
The last 10% of a battery takes like an inordinate amount of time to charge and costs a lot more. So if you add it up,
I did hear that. And you know, the reason for that is because they don't want those batteries to overheat in the very last 10 or 20%.
Yeah.
Then they'll catch
It's
on
like
fire.
phones where they're like, your phones can recharge from 0 to 50% in 10 minutes, and then it's like the remainder's 4 hours.
Yeah, because otherwise the battery will overheat and it'll fire. So anyway, go ahead. So
if you do the math, you're not saving money, right, by going without gas. It doesn't save you money, and they talk about that. It says, where does lithium come from, and how much is actually in a battery? Lithium comes from companies mostly that have really good human rights track records, like China. And to make one car electrical vehicle battery takes 400 pounds of raw lithium.
Yikes.
One battery. And that comes where? Out of the earth. Max has a correlated story for that.
How many batteries does this thing have? Just like, is it all the batteries for one car?
That's a good question.
Batteries.
Multiple cells. Yeah. They do talk about that. I don't see it right off the top.
So you're not saving money or the environment.
No. Then I thought another interesting thing is people want to write this off as it's not that big of a deal. Battery fires are a huge deal with electric vehicles.
Right.
The Chevy Bolt had to stop being sold, and if you owned a Bolt, you had to park it like 200 yards from your house or something like that.
Yeah, they say do not park it in your garage. And that's where your charging station is. A lot of people, they have a charger in their garage.
So lithium, this is according to Motor Trend, lithium-ion battery fires are difficult to extinguish because as the battery burns, it continues to feed the fire.
Yes.
Firefighters we spoke with are very concerned about responding to battery fires because they can't treat them the same as most. Dry chemicals and fire blankets can help contain an EV fire, but if firefighters lack those tools, the strategy is a simple one. Wait for it to burn out and keep it from spreading. Once the smoldering pile of metal cools, extra precautions must be made because even a slight jostle can restart the flames.
Respark it. Yeah.
And so this has
I'm
happened.
sure the smoke is not toxic at all.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, big hurdles, that we're still trying to figure out, and yet there's mandates, for that we all have to.
Isn't this typical of our political system now? It's just like put all these mandates on there, and we haven't even. It's the same thing we had with COVID. It's the same thing with everything they go through with this government. Mm-hmm. Everything.
And there was one more story I liked. So one of their writers went on to see. They took an electric BMW on a road trip. And they did this last year with a different vehicle, just to see what the experience was like. They went around, Michigan and into. I don't remember where. I can't. There's a map of where she went, but I can't find it right now. And she talked about her experiences. Oh, here it is. Up from Detroit, down to Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. They kind of did this loop.
Big loop. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see
and so, what was their experience like? So these, when they tell you how fast it can charge, it's always based on the fast chargers, that have the highest rate of charging. Well, there was about 7 of those on that route, and that's the ones they plan to use.
Okay.
Guess how out of the 7, guess how many worked?
2.
0.
What?
0 worked.
No way.
Some were just completely broken, and some said they were fast chargers, but only charged at like 10% of their capable rate.
Wow.
And so it ended up taking hours, to charge this car at each stop. So then there's these apps that they say where, they're free charging stations. And she stopped at a lot of those. And many of those are like at residents or businesses that are like, have agreed to you can use our power to charge your electric vehicle. So this app, she went and used it. All of them that she stopped at were like, oh, yeah, we don't do that anymore. They never took us off the app. Or, oh, we forgot about that. Yeah. And then you're just plugging into like a 110 or 240 outlet. And it takes forever. Yeah, it takes forever. So we're not there yet. I don't know why they're pushing this. It's not good for the environment. Our power grid can't handle it. Will we be there eventually? Possibly, but this seems like we talked about hydrogen. Hydrogen seems to be the better solution to it. Toyota and Hyundai both have developed great hydrogen vehicles. The only problem is we haven't built hydrogen stations. There's some in Southern California, a couple in the Bay Area, and one in the Central Valley.
The closest to us is Kalinga.
which is a hub of a huge city. And so but the hydrogen is a way better solution. Hydrogen is the most plentiful, you were telling me.
Yeah, it's the most plentiful molecule in the universe.
Yeah. So we'll never run out. When you convert hydrogen and use it as power, it produces water.
Which is great. We need that.
We need water. And it has a small, like, regular car battery, like our current cars, and it has a fuel cell. So as the hydrogen mixes with, the science,
oxygen.
The oxygen.
It produces a little bit of electricity and powers your car. So you don't store it in your battery. It's all stored within the hydrogen.
Yeah, and that fuel cell is easy to take apart and recycle if it runs down. The stations work like gas. They take maybe like 6 minutes longer than filling up a gas car.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. It's transportable. It's a transportable type of fuel, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like
it comes in tankers and so our current infrastructure for gas stations, I think, could pretty easily be converted to hydrogen stations. It's the same principle. But of course, we've chosen the other option.
Let's put in all these electric charging stations that half of them don't work, or maybe majority.
And again, we're going. And what are those stations going to be powered by? Is it going to be solar? I've told this story before.
Yeah,
true
I remember that.
True fact. To power one fast charge station, 20,000 solar panels.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you see solar panels on top of a charging station, it doesn't mean that it's actually doing anything.
Those
it's
are
helping run the lights.
LED lights.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't make sense when you look at the facts, and you could see it's all about, I don't know, money.
It's about money.
Somebody's getting rich.
Control, power, who knows?
It's bad for the planet. I want
stuff.
Max to tell us this is a story about the lithium mines.
Yeah. So I got some stuff here for everybody.
Because you used to work in the lithium mines, didn't you?
So yeah, that's actually.
Isn't that why they called you Johnny
I was just gonna say, so they call me Johnny Knobs. No, but what was the story you said about how much pounds of lithium?
400 pounds per battery.
400 pounds per battery. Now I got a couple of stories here. One is called The Major Effects of Lithium Mining. One is called In Pictures, South America's lithium fields reveal the dark side of our electric future. One is called The Environmental Impact of Lithium Batteries. One is called The Side Effects of Lithium Mining.
And by the way, I know people say like, oh, maybe these are coming from conservative.
Right.
No, these are science journals that he's looking at.
Yeah. One is called The Lithium Gold Rush Inside the Race to Power Electric Vehicles, and how, quote, some might not be very green.
And that's from New York Times.
Yep. One is called Lithium Not as Clean as We Thought. And one is called The Spiraling Environmental Cost for Lithium Battery Addiction. Once again,
Wired.
These are from Wired, the New York Times, Climate 360, the Wellcome Collection, which is a scientific journal. One is called the Institute of Energy Research. Also, that is sponsored by governmental, money. One is from Euronews.green. And one is from Eco Jungle. So obviously these super conservative rags.
Yeah.
But one big issue. See, I'm going to read some of the stuff.
That was
from,
sarcasm. I don't know. That might have come across as you were being serious.
Oh, yeah, sorry. My wife gives me a lot of crap about that, how she can't tell whether I'm sarcastic or not.
I have the same problem with my wife. She does sarcasm. I go, and she has a dry sense of humor. And I say, I don't get
Yeah, it's actually a contentious point of our relationship. I'll say things like, "Oh, it's really good." And she'll think I was
You're
serious.
being sarcastic.
And I'm being,
or the other way.
being completely sarcastic.
Kristen will do that with me.
Or vice versa.
Where I'm just trying to be super genuine and nice, and she's like, "You're being mean." Like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
That's what happens, though.
the same thing.
Yeah, she can't tell which one it is, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
It's like when my kids eat all their
You're
food.
a actor.
What I said to her was, I don't know why you're so upset. Everybody appreciates my superb dry humor. And that turned into another issue. I know. Aye. Okay.
And then you literally went to the lithium mine to hide. You're like,
spiraling environmental costs for lithium battery addiction. Please check out the show notes. This is literally a huge issue. It is poisoning the water in multiple areas.
And it's not just localized, it's getting into the groundwater, right?
Yeah, so the way they do this is they will drill through like salt flats and the ground so deep. They try to get into and I'll find the exact area. They get into like our water core to try to take this up. So it says our demand for lithium is increasing exponentially, and it doubled in price between 2016 and 2018.
Wow.
The lithium ion industry is expected to grow from 100 gigawatt hours of annual production in 2017 to 800 gigawatt hours in 2027. The spike can be traced back to 2015 when Chinese government announced a huge push towards the electric vehicles in its 13 5-year plan, as well as the U.S. plan to push through it. But essentially what happens is they will dig through our core. And for instance, in South America, it says, quote, the biggest problem is water. The continent's lithium triangle, which covers part of Argentina, Bolivia, and Chile, holds more than half the world's supply of metal beneath its otherworldly salt flats. It's one of the driest places on Earth, and that's a real issue. Because to extract lithium, miners start by drilling a hole in the salt flats and pumping salty, mineral-rich brine into the surface. They leave it to evaporate for months at a time, first creating a mixture of manganese, potassium, borax, and lithium salts, which is then filtered and placed into another evaporation pool, and so on. Essentially, this filters through so we can get lithium carbonate and we can extract it. It's an effective process, but what do we have here? We have like a worldwide drought, right? To get this, we use over 500,000 gallons of water per ton of lithium. In Chile's region, we consume 65% of the region's water to extract this lithium. In this area, because
Think
of
about that, 65% of their available water.
Because of that, we are killing off all their growth of quinoa and herd llamas, which is where their communities have to get their stuff, like, and get their money. In which case, because of this, their communities have to get water driven from elsewhere. We're literally driving water into regions because we're sucking up all their water. Additionally, in Tibet, because we're doing this, the toxic chemicals which are leaking into their evaporation from their evaporation pools into their water supply. These toxic chemicals include hydrochloric acid, which are used to process lithium ion to a form that can then be sold. In Australia and North America, lithium is mined from rock using more traditional methods, but it requires the use of chemicals to extract it in its useful form. Research in Nevada found impacts on fish as far as 150 miles downstream from one of their lithium ion processing operations. They actually found a bunch of dead fish in this whole area in China, whole regions of just dead fish.
So clean energy is killing our planet.
Literally, and I can't get too much into this because it's a really long article, but also they have to get cobalt and nickel, which are much more dangerous to create these, and this is a bottleneck to move towards electric vehicles. This is where all of that comes from, like the Congo. The price has quadrupled in the last 2 years. It's very toxic, and they have to send children into the mines to get it.
Oh my
Gosh.
Because they're small.
Yeah. I mean, and where are the, oh
It's like, I cannot tell you how bad.
That's why I got to take weeks off at a time.
So I am actually
my
doing much better for my environment by filling my car full of gas.
100%.
Well, we've
Literally,
talked about
gas is so much better for the environment because nobody understands that to do this, you're using gas to do all of this mining in the first place. Yeah. Plus, you're literally killing off children and people to do this.
And
they've said
poisoning water, and we need water to live.
It's not a secret. They admit it that electric vehicles have a much higher carbon footprint than fossil fuel vehicles right
Here
now.
it is.
Then why are we falling for this?
And the thing they say is, but eventually it won't.
It's always the promise of down the road.
I want everybody to please look at this
Down the
article.
road, no pun intended.
This is in the show notes. This comes from a study by the Wall Street Journal, and let me see here. Where else? And the U.S. Department of Energy. The cumulative energy demand to power an electric vehicle versus a regular car battery.
Oh, geez.
Is at the car battery, it's, what is that, about 15? I don't know how they measure this. This is CO2 emissions. It's about a 15.
Carbon
Electric
footprint.
car battery, carbon footprint is at almost 45.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like 3 or 4 times more. It says
Carbon footprint for battery production
this is
for
a quote.
EVs.
While electric cars reduce fossil fuel emissions once they are on the road, the production of the lithium-ion batteries that power them causes more displacement and CO2 emissions than the production of a regular gas-powered car. Disposal of the batteries at the end of their life cycle is also a growing concern.
They don't know. They don't know what they're going to do with them.
This is like...
No, send them to China.
Science will find a way. Believe in
What we've been doing with
science.
batteries forever. I think it was Thomas Edison who very early on said that batteries are the worst way to store energy.
Really?
Yeah, they're just
wow.
Because they do. All those batteries that we've used over our lives, what do? We throw them in the trash. Yeah. And what happens to them?
You know what's going to happen when this leaks out? Well, I mean, you know, when people get a wind of really, you know, and it catches on mainstream more and more, then they'll flip it. They'll flip the narrative and they'll say, "No, we need that extra CO2." Those CO2 emissions for our plants.
Yeah, it's getting too cold. Our plants aren't growing.
We need that. The plants aren't growing.
Here's another issue that they all say. They'll say this. This is a quote from this article. This is from the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. They will say lithium-ion batteries are clean disposal. It's a clean way to dispose of it. So it doesn't harm the environment if they are disposed correctly, right? That's what they say, so it makes sense. Okay, great. However, and I quote, 98.3% of lithium-ion batteries are not disposed of correctly and end up in landfills, thus creating fires, 124 fires, 47 in the first half of 2020, right? So they are, if they are taken to a certified battery electronics recycler and disposed of properly. However, all the ones that go there just get sent to trash heaps anyways and burned. So all that stuff leaks into the ground, leaks into the water, and causes fires. So they'll say, it's completely safe if it's disposed of correctly.
Because
98.3%
like solar
are
panels,
not.
There's not much you could recycle out of them.
Just like plastic was supposed to be very recyclable, and then we find out 14% has been recycled, and the rest just goes in the ocean.
But it's making our planet larger, which is good. We need more room. So the more stuff we put in landfills and stuff, we're making the planet bigger.
Like Lex Luthor in that Superman
soon we'll be like
movie.
Jupiter, man. It's going to be great.
Here's another great one. This is great. The Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, the RCRA, which is let me see here. This is an EPA, the RCRA, the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. This was an act which was to, gives the EPA the authority to control hazardous waste from cradle to grave. The generation, transportation, treatment, storage, and disposal of hazardous waste, right? So this whole thing is to say, this is how we protect these batteries and junk from getting into our groundwater, et cetera, et cetera. However, because they wanted to push lithium-ion batteries and push the solar stuff, as it stands, lithium-ion do not fall under Resource Conservation and Recovery Act because they are often classified as hazardous waste. Therefore, they are exempt from the regulations under the RCRA.
So somebody else who deals with hazardous waste is a garbage man, I guess. They come and throw them in the garbage.
Oh, my God.
People running the landfill.
Yes. Here's another thing, right?
New York Times.
Continuing, ranchers and environmental groups, the Lithium Americas has drawn protests from members of Native American tribes, ranchers, and environmental groups. Even they're trying to push against this because it uses billions of gallons of groundwater and contaminating it for at least 300 years. Also leaving behind giant mounds of waste. This entire mountain in Nevada is just a waste field. It's all lithium waste.
Wow.
It's really,
this
really
is
bad.
way more concerning than gas and global warming.
Well, we talked about how
to destroy the planet.
Yeah, it's good. And we talked about how much better gas vehicles have become from the 1960s to today. Gas vehicles produce 1% of the emissions that vehicles did in the 60s. 1%. So it's like. The other thing we talked about before the show was this idea that if all our cars are dependent upon electricity, it's very easy for a government to turn off power.
Sure. Well, we see it in California. What happened this last week?
And what then happens to our freedom of mobility to go where we want to go to the store, to go do anything. You know what I mean? It's kind of scary. We saw that in Canada when they wanted to get rid of the protesters. They were able to go into their bank accounts and go after their families and what. So imagine if all those trucks were electric vehicles, they just shut down the power.
Well, here's the other. Speaking of that, in Canada, here's the other point. Now, these electric vehicles don't work well in cold weather either, right?
Oh, the range drops considerably if it's cold or really hot.
Someone said, hey, do an experiment yourself. Take your fully charged cell phone, stick it in your freezer, and then pull it out after a few hours and see how well it works, right?
When I was in Norway, we were taking pictures of the northern lights, and everyone's camera quit working because it was so cold.
Wow.
Except for my Panasonic GH4, it kept going.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
but that's true. So, if all these trucks are going to be electric, then how are supplies going to get around? This is a huge disaster.
Yeah, and
this
also,
is a global disaster.
Don
waiting to
brought
happen.
up how far these trucks can go hauling.
Yeah, so these new, the Ford F-150 Lightning, which is their big new electric truck, the Rivian, which is a sweet truck. So they put them to work. Like, okay, so people buy trucks to do truck things like towing trailers. The Ford F-150 went 70 miles towing a trailer before it ran out of juice.
Wow.
Same thing with the Rivian. So they're not ready to replace gas-powered.
And they want to replace farm equipment, harvesting equipment.
Oh, geez.
With all the gas-powered with electric. They're already pushing that. John Deere, all the big, Caterpillar, all the big companies are already starting to push
even
the
home lawnmowers, leaf blowers, trimmers.
Well, yeah, in California, you can't buy, right?
Yeah.
Right now, you can't buy gas,
No.
can you?
No, it's
Anymore.
all battery already. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I know.
buy a battery car.
My
I won't
fingers
buy
are
one.
crossed
I'll
at
buy
all
a
my...
used one. I don't care. I won't buy batteries because
Yeah.
they're just killing the environment.
Well,
That's
and
why,
here's the
'cause I'm
thing.
pretty sure Gavin listens to our show.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to change this. Gavin, change this because this is getting ridiculous. We're going to kill off this planet.
And listen, I'm not against this technology. And, we've talked a lot about alternative technology on the show, and I'm not against battery-powered cars. I'm not against any of this technology. The problem is that first off, we're just talking about the infrastructure's not there. I mean, they're very polluting. They're not held to the same standards that other vehicles or other hazardous materials are. We just read. I mean, Max just brought that up. So, I mean, there's a lot of problems that need to be ironed out, And unfortunately, we see, especially in our state, we see how things just never quite get ironed out. You just push it right through no matter what. So all I can say is, if you got a gas-powered car, keep that thing tuned up in good shape.
I'm like, the more I read about this, I'm actually like, it's really bad. It's really bad. Like, even all of this stuff that they're doing to extract it, it also, it goes to the groundwater.
12 something million tons of lithium is needed just by 2030, they predict.
Oh, yeah.
So we won't have any water.
And
after
lithium
that.
isn't plentiful, right? It's hard to get.
It's really hard to get.
And it's going to run out.
It's really bad. They're talking about how also the ramifications across our entire ecological network. It kills off all the microorganisms that live in, like, the brine underneath the ground.
We need that.
It kills off the bacteria that all of that feeds on and grows.
So it's killing a whole ecosystem.
The
Killing an
ecosystem is
entire
crashing.
ecosystem. Also, this is talking about people who have to go in and harvest this.
So, Don, we need
Are
to start a
becoming-
support group. So after these shows, we could sit there and talk with each other and hold each other while we cry.
Yeah, these people are also the workers in the lithium plants who have unmonitored respiratory exposure to lithium now have buildup of fluid in their lungs and are on
nervous system
disorders. And we just keep on doing it. Let's just keep on going this path, guys.
That's where the money is, boys.
That's really great.
Yeah.
Who started this? Do you remember?
Elon Musk.
Al Gore.
Al Gore.
Oh, yeah.
Al Gore. And you know what? He got so rich by people
he
buying
did.
into
Well,
this,
listen.
and he sold his business to Al Jazeera.
Yeah.
It's a true story.
And the big joke was back then that, remember, it's climate change, and the big joke was that he had his lights on his beachfront property, and all his big huge mansion. I can't remember how many thousands of square foot this thing was, and every light in every room was on. They caught and everything else, right? He's
Right.
burning
And it's
electricity left
unrelated.
and right.
Is there climate change? Yes. But what our solutions are killing the environment much faster and in much worse ways than the supposed problem,
And,
right?
our climate's changed forever. Like, we used to have an ice age.
Forever.
Fresno
We've had
used to be
multiple
under
ice ages.
There was
Yeah.
a big glacier that carved out our valley. The planet changes all the time, and so
Yeah.
we don't know what directions it's going in. Science is just panicking.
Well, it's funny how they're talking about, especially in California, there's the huge heat wave, and it's across the country. There's been this heat wave, right? And it's, heat wave. You hear it on the news. And then all of a sudden they're bringing other news sources are bringing these old headlines back from, like, the 30s and the 50s. Heat wave, 100, temperatures 110 here and 115.
and there's been droughts
We're trying to
throughout
hit,
history.
we're trying to hit high temperatures that were set in, like, the 1950s or the 1870s or something. You're going, it's always been hot.
Yeah.
And again, Is it an issue? Of course. Yeah, there's climate disasters and droughts, and those are all problems. But again, what do we do? Do we do the things that actually would help, like Nathan Madsick was talking about? Are we clearing our forests of all the dead debris to help with water?
And you
water
could use
runoff?
it, and you could use the clearing of the forest for other things, right? In other words, you do wood chips, you do all that. You take all your parks, you put the wood chips out there. It's all. I mean, you keep that.
How much lumber industry has died in California because we're not chopping down our dead trees?
Well, that's the problem. And even when they had the bark beetle that went in, they said that there were so many trees that could have been used that had died, that could have been used for good wood, and they just let it go too. So how much wood got wasted up there?
It used to be a huge industry for us here,
or another.
Yeah, by sugar pine.
Everyone focuses on trees. Oh, trees are the answer, but it's the ground cover that really matters in the forest because they're planting so many trees it's killing off the ground cover.
Right, no sunlight can get in.
Yeah, and the ground cover is what animals need to eat, to hide. So we got, it's got to change the focus off trees so much.
Yeah, there's a whole ecosystem there, and it depends on, and even stuff we don't see, right? And like they're saying, they're finding out it's killing the bacteria. And there's just there's things that all live together, work together to create this world.
You know what the healthiest forest is going to be in 10 years? It's the stuff that's growing where the creek fire was. It's already coming back green. Yeah.
Because it'll have less trees, more ground cover, and it's amazing how quickly everything grows.
Yeah, it's getting green already.
Well, and also, isn't there a certain tree? Is it the sequoia or one of those trees that they're pine cones?
They
need
can't
the heat
they
to
can't
spread seeds.
Yeah, they
and
need
that's
to
how they
almost
propagate.
be in a fire. Yeah,
they have to have a fire. It's like it was a natural part of the system. You know. I mean, a typical fire, not this crazy burning thing that has all this fuel.
It's killing people because of how fast it grows. Because
well, I'm just waiting for this planet to just at some point just say, you know what, I'm done with you humans, and just volcanoes just reset its whole self, right? Reboot itself.
It's going to screw you. Ice Age.
Yeah, here it goes. Yeah.
Oh goodness. Okay, we never got into Fresno. We got to talk Fresno, guys.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Sorry, lithium.
He's typing in
batteries.
What did you guys do to stay cool this last week? It was 115.
Good question.
Air conditioner, man.
Just
we
air conditioner.
And just
hide
prayed that
inside.
we didn't have a rolling blackout.
Yeah. Did you guys have rolling blackouts? Did anybody get affected by them?
Thankfully, no.
Yeah.
Isn't
that the craziest thing that this guy's coming out, the governor, coming out saying they got 90 billion votes, coming out saying that that turn your power off, conserve power between 9, turn your thermostat up to 92 degrees
during the hottest part of the day,
conserve power between 4, and then he's telling you, this is the funny thing on that speech, he's telling you cool your house, pre-cool your house down like it's gonna matter. So you had the insulation so good in all these homes that you could basically get it to 60 degrees.
We all live in Yeti coolers, by the way.
It's not an insulated cooler.
Much more sophisticated.
But pre-cool your house down so that you could just turn it off when it's the hottest part of the day, and it's not going to affect your house whatsoever. You're going to be nice and cool inside. Makes no sense. No sense. And then on top of that, the guy's wearing a fleece jacket. Did you see that when he's giving the speech? And everybody talks about with the computer monitors that are all on, nobody working at him behind him, burning power.
Yeah.
Right? It's just
it made me
nonsense.
Jesus, this is ridiculous.
Let's talk about this video really quick.
Yes.
You guys seen this? This is a former elementary school principal was accused of abusing a 9-year-old student after a video showed him shoving the child to the ground.
Walters. He was at Walters Elementary.
Walters Elementary. His name was Brian Volhart in Fresno. They launched an investigation on June 7th. So I didn't know. I was like, I wonder how bad this was, And then I watched the video. Link, of course, in the show notes. He's sitting here talking.
It's very strange.
A 10-year-old boy.
It looks like they're just kind of chatting. Everything's fine.
And this student was emotionally disturbed student, and you can tell the kids.
Oh my gosh!
Wow! The video we're watching.
The kid is doing something
the kid to the ground
to agitate. The kid keeps coming back and pointing his finger at the principal. But come on, dude. I
am shocked. And the thing that shocks me, though, too, is look at everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, they're shocked. I mean, they don't know what to do.
This guy on the side, he's just like, huh.
Yeah, I know. And they moved that kid 10 feet easily, just shoving him to the ground.
I was
And early in the video, this kid's, saying whatever he's saying, and he's acting like an adult, just listening to him, just kind of all right, whatever, dude. And then at some point, I don't know what happened, but, I mean, the guy the guy immediately resigned. They called CPS.
Actually, Fresno sat on the video for a while.
Yeah, but he himself,
Yeah.
like called CPS
On himself?
On himself.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
Okay.
that's. So he
But
just-
still,
he
it's
just
not
snapped.
that's not a.
Yeah, still, it's also Fresno County Office of Ed sat on the video for a while. They didn't release it to police or anyone. So they just kind of sat on it. Then they released it later
they're
after
doing
he
an
already
internal-
got hired at another school.
They're doing an
Oh,
internal
I didn't hear
investigation.
that.
It's an internal investigation.
Yeah, I know. They needed to release it to police. And that was a 10-year-old boy. I'm sorry. You know, if a 10-year-old boy, you don't feel threatened by a 10-year-old boy. If he's up in your face, you just can, move
I think
him back, but you
he's
don't need to
already
shove
going
him.
to trial for this of
needs to.
endangerment of whatever
It's assault.
of a minor. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like I've been in the classroom. I understand that kids can
Oh, yeah.
get on your nerve,
Get out
and
of
I've
hand,
wanted
yeah.
to flick a student in the face before. Or
I've had
something.
high school kids who just bug the crap out of me, but I just, realize I'm the adult here.
Yeah.
Also, I have a credential. I don't want to lose it. So
Exactly.
you have to be nice and play nice.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know what happened. There's no excuse for that, no matter what happened.
No.
And it was pretty
It's shocking. I didn't realize he pushed him that hard either. I kind of was watching it.
That
and
was
I
a
was like, Whoa.
WWF move.
Yeah,
I do have an issue. Like, this is one thing that kind of bugs me about this, though. Like, this does not seem racially motivated to me.
No.
No, is that
However,
what they're saying?
Of course.
No.
This guy who is, I don't know who Nelson is. It says Nelson says. I don't know
Bob
who that
Nelson.
Is he the
Superintendent. He's Fresno
Superintendent, of course, he says
Oh, here we go.
racial dynamics are always present. Like, I don't understand why he's trying to bring Volhart is white and the student is black. Facts noted by Nelson. Like, it has nothing based on, like, this room is like full of a lot of different people.
Yeah, in the
Looks
video,
like maybe
you see.
there's like somebody from India.
It's a coat of many colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of, yeah.
Like, I don't think if you had a problem with race, you'd be anyways. It
And a
just looks like
racial
guy who's-
problem is not the main concern. It's a 10-year-old being shoved by a guy who's a good 2 feet taller than that kid.
Well, an adult, yeah.
And he looks like a big,
A
strong
principal.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
principal
got
of the
tattoos
school.
on his arm. He looks like a wrestler. He looks like one of the nasty boys. Yeah,
He is a nasty boy. Do you know him, Johnny?
Is that the Knobs guy, Brian?
it might be Brian Knobs. Very interesting story. I was kind of shocked by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So it's going to trial right now?
my wife works at Fresno Unified, and they started hearing about this early in the school year, even though it happened last year. The end of last school year.
And it's just now hitting the news.
And they were all kind of guarded at first because they know, like, the school she works in, their adults are attacked by students a lot. She works in a really rough school, and they have campus safety people who are allowed to put their hands on students to contain them because they'll come swinging at teachers. And so they were more like, well, let's wait and see because, is this guy defending himself, the principal? And then they saw the video and they're like, you can't. Even at our school, you have to resign and go to jail. There's no excuse for what happened. No defending it.
Yeah, but they sat on it so long that the guy was able to get a job at another school.
I never knew that. That's pretty shocking.
In Fresno or in this area, or do we know?
I don't know exactly. I remember hearing about it on the news and going, man, that is...
I mean, they can
And
still
so he
fire
resigned
him.
from that
And
position
that's a
too, when
problem.
it came out in the news. Again.
That's a problem. I'm not going to say names, but I worked at a school that the principal was let go for sexually harassing many people.
Wow.
And the process took so long to get into the credential, and will he lose his credential? It took like 2.5 years, and he taught at like 2 other high schools after ours,
man.
and sexually assaulted some people at those campuses. So it's like, yeah.
It's tough. It's hard. It's
crazy.
you got to be
That's
careful
crazy.
out there, everybody. Be careful.
All right, next show, Max. I think we're talking fun things in Fresno.
fun
Oktoberfest is
things.
coming.
We got, yes. What else do we got, guys? We got...
A new Don Slicks poll.
That's right. We're also going to talk Mexican food. Is there better Mexican food out there than Bobby Salazar's? And is it worth shooting over? We'll
McDonald's.
see. We're going to talk about kids' cartoons. Lots of fun. Some of my
Peppa
favorites.
Pig.
We got a lot
I
coming
love
up.
Peppa Pig.
I do want to, once again, point out, if you guys find it in your hearts, we do this for you for free. We do not waste your time with any like real ads. We do a lot of
We
fun
don't do
stuff.
it for free. I would argue with that. It's value for value. We do give value.
Oh, yeah. We do it a lot. We
You don't have to
a lot
fully
of
do it,
value.
but
We
you'll
give a
use
lot
those
of
commercials.
value here.
Yes, and we spend our time, and Max DeBoss spends a lot of money running this studio and our AC units and on this gear. So, and on the hosting and everything else we do. I would just, if you find it in your hearts, if you say, man, you know what, I like that show.
I was going to throw this money in the street. What else could I do with it?
You might be able to go to nofocusradio.com, and if you just go to the second link there, it says buy us a coffee and join the club. You can jump in, and you can just go to there. You can buy us a coffee. Very simple. Hit support. Coffee's $5. You can buy up to 5 coffees, or you can become a member, which is I recommend. There's the bronze membership, the silver, and the gold, all with various things. If you go with the gold, you get everything below. You get a free advertisement on the show. You get some of our vinyl decals. You get access to our backlog of episodes all the way from 2012. You get access to our live show Discord server. You can unlock exclusive posts and messages. You get a shout out on the show. You can get some merch. You get a hat. You also get Marty sharing dirty pictures with you on our Discord.
Yeah.
Lots of really good
Hey,
stuff.
also, Don
Yeah.
will let you come over and charge your electric vehicle for free.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
off of his own grid.
And once again, so that's only $10 a month for the gold plan. And I'm going to point out one more time that for $10 a month, plus if you send us an additional $16.39, we will send you a full motion TV monitor, wall mount bracket, articulating arm, swivel, tilts, extension, rotation for most 13 to 42 inch screens.
I want that.
Yes, that's right, but that's only for the next 9 hours if you do that. So it's $10 a month plus $16.39. We will give you a full motion TV monitor. So sign up now. Go to our website.
Oh, monitor mount.
It's a monitor to mount. That's right.
Yeah.
So check that out, and you get your choice. You get your choice of that, or a
Sham for your couch.
or for $26, the Astro AI air compressor tire inflator. So just
As
check
seen on
us out.
Amazon. Yeah.
NoFocusRadio.com. Also, as always,
5 stars is the correct number of stars,
that's
folks.
right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.